Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back. It is news and views on Salam Media, and the time is just gone 8:32 a.m. We are now joined by Ahmed Mansour Sheikh Imam, leader of the NFP in Parliament. Now, the NFP believes it is absolutely critical that apartheid era ministers and high ranking officials are questioned and compelled to share information regarding unsolved cases of missing individuals or those who died under mysterious circumstances during the apartheid era. And this comes on the back of the death of apartheid Minister of Police, Adrian Flock. Assalamu alaikum to you, Brother Ahmed Mansour Sheikh Imam. Always a pleasure talking to you. Welcome to the program. And I should imagine not a moment too soon. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm thinking as I was going through my notes this morning is this should have been addressed like way back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Why have we waited this long to raise this issue? Welcome to the show. Your thoughts.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and shukran for having me on the air this morning. Yes, indeed, I think a very important point you've made. First of all, yes, we are now reminded as a result of the death of the notorious former Minister of Police, Adrian Flock. Very importantly, I can say that I had repeatedly raised this even in Parliament, calling for an investigation pre-1994. And even the TRC, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, has not provided us with answers to everything that has happened before 1990. And when I say this, remember there were atrocities, there were acts of criminality, lots of people lost their lives, people went missing. And I think both sides, even the liberation movement as far as the ANC, and that is also have a lot of questions to answer. But very importantly, an estimated 30,000 people were detained under the leadership of the Minister of Police, Adrian Flock. And some of them lost their lives. To date, families have not had closure. They don't know what happened to their loved ones when they went missing. They don't know where they are buried. And the least I think families would have expected. And even if one is afraid to do that during your lifetime, we expect you to do it during your final moments. And if not in your final moments, at least leave us with some information so these families will know exactly what would happen to their loved ones. Can you imagine a family who lost loved ones don't know to date what happened? Now, it really makes it very difficult, has a psychological effect on them. Remember that many of these people have cultures and traditions that they need to follow, particularly at the spots where people may have died and things. They are not able to do all these things. I mean, children, grandchildren do not know what happened to their loved ones. But I think the point you're making is very important. Have we done enough? No, we have not done enough. And it would appear one of the reasons for that is that the current government, when they negotiated at CODESA and things, it appears one of the things they've negotiated is to block or suppress any information on the atrocities committed by both sides in any event. And I think that's why very little or nothing has happened by government in the last 28 years, despite raising this in Parliament a couple of times that we need to go back, see exactly what has happened, even deal with the corruption and looting that started pre-1994, including and not limited to the fact that I've been advised lots and lots of properties were disposed of and the documentation was destroyed, just before the 94 election. So there's a whole lot, I think, that we have not touched on.
Our freedom has come at a huge price, has it not? Because here we're sitting with this situation now where people haven't had closure. You have indicated over 30,000 people have gone missing, were killed. We don't know what has happened to them. And you'd also have indicated that the corruption had started way before then. The payoffs had begun way before then, and it's continuing at such a rapid and vast scale. It is absolutely sickening, to such a degree that I kind of even wonder if we're going to be able to get rid of this culture in South Africa, because the rots has started right at the top. And if the fish rots at the head, then the entire fish is useless. You need to throw the entire carcass away. And it's gone right down to grassroots level. How does that make you feel, being the leader of the NFP? And how hard do you and other people like yourself have to fight to get this very, very important message across? And then us as civil society, what role do we have to play? We must play a role, because clearly politicians can't do it on their own. And I think if civil society has this huge uprising against corruption, maybe the tide can and will turn. And I'll also tell you one more thing before I hand over to you. En route to work this morning, I passed the township of Riverlee, and they protesting, possibly a service delivery protest, and they truly caused chaos as far as the traffic is concerned, because they had bricks and and I can't even begin to tell you how they clogged up the roads. And it created a terrible traffic backlog both ways, in both directions. And we know what the ripple effect is going to be like for the rest of Johannesburg and possibly Gauteng province. Uh, they come up in protest and create untold infrastructure damage. Why don't they we need leaders like you to get them to possibly pool their resources and their energy and do it in a way that they don't distract and destroy infrastructure, and get their voices heard in a very, very strong way against wholesale corruption in this country.
Yeah, Jazakallah for that. I think we got cut off for a period of time, but I think I know what you're saying. But yeah, I think first of all, let me just say this, that the very same people that are protesting are the very same people that's going to go out and vote for the very same people that have failed you again and again and again. That's the first thing. Second thing, in politics, you have more friends when you are corrupt and you do the wrong things. If you do the right things, you have more enemies. That's the other problem that you got. As far as corruption is concerned, I think you are correct. You're not going to get rid of it anytime soon. Let me tell you, we is estimated 300 billion rand a year is lost in corruption in this country, starting right from local government elections, local government level. Very importantly, many of these people, politicians, officials, remember this cadre deployment. Political parties only employ or appoint people that are aligned to their political parties. It's the reason or only way how political parties are funded and are sustaining themselves currently. If we remember what the president of this country said in the Zondo Commission, yes, indeed, there were times, according to him, we have received monies through unlawful means, but we decided to keep it because we need it. We are a big organization. So in other words, what the president he said, we received stolen money, we kept it, we need it. Okay, so, I mean, there's your answer. But more importantly, even as far as professionalization, cadre deployment, it continues. If you heard the statement by the ANC, Gwedi Mantashe, the other day, he again says that the ANC will have something to do with the appointment of the new CEO of ESCOM, despite an assurance that we will appoint people based on the capacity, the ability, the qualification to do the job, and not necessarily, aligned to any political party. If you look at the latest reports on Benel, exactly what the CEO said, how they're attempting to sell off assets at a pittance of the value of those things, trying to get rid of state-owned entities, running them down. Look at SAA, 51 rand. Can you imagine SAA? You sold your entire fleet of airplanes. You sold it to a person who in turn leased it back to us, rented it back to us. Can you imagine
Unbelievable.
now leasing explain that he's on. And nobody has done absolutely nothing. You know, I have begged, virtually begged and pleaded with the president in this country and everybody else. Can we do something about corruption starting at local government level? Believe me, absolutely nothing. Nobody even wants to support it. There's corruption even at parliament level. All political parties get money for constituency purposes, which money you cannot and must not use for the party purposes. Every party is using that. And so I, in being a member of the Joint Standing Committee on the Financial Management of Parliament, pleaded that we should have an independent audit all our books for the money that you're giving us from Parliament. Do you know something? Not a single one of the political parties supported me. Not a one. In fact, one of them said, no, but we have. I said, no, I know you have, we all have. Point is, this money, people are abusing it. Parties are using it for their own purposes. But this is for the purposes of a constituency office, which is the go between the public and Parliament. Nothing to do with political parties. But they will do nothing about it. So, let me tell you, people in places, political parties, all of us, they are only interested in power and control. And it comes back to the question of what do we do? What South Africa needs is a revolution. It needs people to rise. And I'll tell you how you should be starting it. Let's give you a good example. I'll give you
Okay, can I ask you to hold that thought? I'm going to allow you extra time on the show this morning because this is a very important discussion. Can we take a quick ad break and then come back to you, please?
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Jazakallah.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
There's no smell that takes me back to the comfort of my childhood than the smell of black seed oil being applied by my nani. Now I'm using Tib black seed in my own home to soothe sniffles and coughs, to help with digestion and immunity, and of course, as part of my beauty routine. After all these years, I've come to appreciate the wisdom in finding comfort and shifa in trusted treatments like Tib black seed. You can find Tib black seed at all leading pharmacies or find out more at blackseed.co.za.
Devastating floods in Pakistan have washed away villages, claimed the lives of more than 1,000 people, damaged nearly 1 million homes, and left over 33 million people in desperate need of help. As the catastrophe unfolds, Islamic Relief is on the ground, reaching people with life-saving aid. Our team are working tirelessly to deliver food and shelter. Your support is urgently needed now to help save more lives. Donate now to Islamic Relief.
Ah, the kitchen, the heart of the home, where memories are made and celebrated. Our go-to place for those freshly stacked pancakes early in the morning or for that late-night snack munchies. We are in there together, cooking, eating and celebrating life together. Let's keep the kitchen a place that is shared by everyone, where we build stronger bonds and grow together. Sunfoil, now we cooking. Visit nowwecooking.co.za for recipes that everyone can help make.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Al Bayt Lodge, your true home away from home. Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities. Conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities, your stay will be truly unforgettable as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Al Bayt has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albaytlodge.co.za.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It is exactly 8:47 a.m. My guest is Ahmed Mansour Sheikh Imam, leader of the NFP in Parliament. Inshallah, we will talk with him till 10 this morning. Very important discussion. We started out by talking about his party, the NFP, calling for surviving apartheid ministers to come clean and share details of unreported atrocities. And of course, we started veering into the direction of obviously large-scale corruption in the country, right at the top, going down to grassroots levels, obviously. I did say that we're going to talk to him till 10 o'clock. Sorry, correction, till about just before 9 o'clock, inshallah. In case you had a bit of a fright there, Ahmed Mansour, thinking that I'm going to stretch you for another hour at least.
No, Jazakallah for that. I got worried because it's quite an interview in the morning and I've got to leave to Johannesburg for another meeting. But anyway, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so to
Can I
pick
go
up
ahead?
from where we left off, yes, please.
Right. First of all, on the issue of what happened during the days of apartheid, let us not forget that thousands of blacks were killed in the infighting between the ANC and the IFP members. And we all know there was a third force. We know there was collusion. Some of them colluded with the apartheid regime. And some of them refused to testify in the TRC. So we don't really know exactly what has happened. So I think the time has come. If you want to normalize our relationship and our life in the country, then, I will go back to what our one late brother Hassan always said, that you can't live a normal life in an abnormal society. You can't play normal sport in an abnormal society. And exactly that is. So you need to deal with what happened in the past to be able to then address that, bring closure to people and things so that we can go forward. But you can't just sweep these things under the carpet, whatever happened, and say business as usual. It cannot happen. It must not happen. I think that's the only. On the issue of corruption, I want to say to you, I have demanded from the Minister and Deputy Minister of Corporate Governance, I said, what I want to see, I want a report, an extensive report in the last 2 or 3 years. Take KwaZulu-Natal, every municipality, exactly which contracts were awarded, who were they awarded to, what was the value of the contract, what was the itemized billing on each item, who are the directors of these companies, did they complete those jobs timeously or not? Give us a report of all that. And the reason why I said that, remember, this country has created 17,500 black millionaires and multimillionaires in the last couple of years. What have they put back into this economy? Very little or nothing. And all these are being created as a result of the corruption that exists in the procurement system. And that's the problem. That is why the former CEO of supply chain at National Treasury estimated that we lose 40% on goods and services, which currently is estimated at about 300 to 350 billion rand a year. Alone, this is how much we lose. So what we need is our saying, like, take an example of Itabini or any municipality. The community, you pay rates, you pay taxes. Okay? I always say that we public representatives are the servants of the people. You pay us. What must happen is there must be total accountability in these municipalities. What is going on, who these tenders are being awarded. And I promise you, if they give you this report, you will find that the same people are getting all these tenders because they are connected with the right people. That's exactly
Okay.
what.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's look at 2 issues and then we need to wrap up. Number one, you spoke about the third force back in the day of apartheid, or shortly after, between the ANC and Inkatha and all of the killings, because it was instigated by the third force. It suited their agenda to create this massive division within the country that could have led to civil uprising in the country. Be that as it may, it didn't happen. Currently, we're sitting on another massive situation. We could have a civil society uprising, or we could have an Arab Spring in the country because of all of the shenanigans with all of the corruption and a corrupt government that we have in power. Added to that, what do you see the deep factions within the ANC? How's that going to play out? Will they be able to repair that and work side by side? Or is it really about how much can I grab whilst I can before there's an uprising in the country or whatever else happens in the country?
Strange enough, you're saying this. Yesterday, I spoke to somebody and I said, do you think that there might be a chance that the ANC leadership, particularly, have accepted that it's a matter of time when they will be a thing of the past. And as such, they are working with the state-owned entities to run them down to the ground and building this nest for themselves so that it's going to be disposed of for next to nothing to the private sector, and then they will benefit from it after the demise of the ANC. And that's the way, if you look at some of the statements being made by some of the CEOs, and in this case, Denel and things, that's the direction it takes. Even the Minister of Public Enterprises was very evasive when I asked him if he could tell me whether there was anybody of influence from any political party directly or indirectly involved in the sale of ANC, sale of the SAA. And his answer to me was, not that I know of. You are the one that's dealing with this matter, but not that. You could have said yes or no. He ought to know more than anybody else, but that's his answer. So the problem you got is this, that they know exactly what is going on. They had no intention of saving these state-owned entities. That's the first. The problem in the ANC, I can tell you from what I have learned of politics, if you don't get what you want, I'd rather destroy the entire organization if it go to the ground. But if I don't get it, nobody must get it. And that's the mentality, and that's the problem we have. So the infighting in the ANC is going to continue. You've already heard they're talking about launching another political party, which means they're going to be divided. People will start voting for that. They will lose their support, and then those will start working with other political parties. We already know coalition governments are not working in South Africa. Every one of them is a mess. So it clearly indicates that, all is not well for the future. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of education, electoral education, educate people about why you should vote, who you should vote for, and what you should demand as far as accountability. If you're not going to do this, I can tell you now, people are still going to go out there because remember, politicians have mastered the art of telling you what you want to hear. They're going to come there and tell you they're going to give you A, B, C, D, and E. Give you a food parcel, and they go 5 years later, they'll be back with another food parcel. You are not, what they are forgetting is that food parcel is used, your money has been used to buy you that food parcel.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we do have to leave it there. So many more questions to ask you, particularly about Gwede Mantashe and Eskom and so much more, but let's leave it for another time. Maybe, time permitting, we can...
It will take about 10 years to sort out the issue of nothing. If anybody tells you less than that, they are misleading.
I shudder to think of the future of this country, but we'll leave all of those issues for the next time. Always a pleasure talking with you. Go well, and please continue the good fight for the benefit of the people of South Africa. Allah be with you, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum to you.
Jazakallah wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
8:55 exactly. Standing by to talk to us is Matina Mohammed, National Coordinator of the South African National Quran Council. We'll take her in literally a minute, inshallah.